Hey everybody, welcome back. I am bored. COVID made me bored, and today at the table, I am taking a look at Monopoly Knockout. I think there's been several variations of the classic Monopoly game. I grew up playing Monopoly, but I never really enjoyed Monopoly only because I didn't have a lot of people to play with, and on top of that, it seemed to be slow, and rightly so. There's a lot of rounds. It's kind of a grind. And I think since that point, Monopoly has tried to, or Hasbro, is it Hasbro? Hasbro Gaming has attempted to reduce that amount of time by introducing other variations based on sort of that this classic notion of Monopoly. So I do have Monopoly Deal, which was a card-based version of Monopoly, and it plays really quick, 15 to 20 minutes. My particular group of friends that we play, we really enjoy it. It's the filler game. It's something we're kind of, in between lunches or on a break, we just pull out the cards and start playing, and it is actually enjoyable to play it. I think it definitely plays better at higher counts, and I suspect that this game will be very similar. But just like a Monopoly Deal, this is sort of another variation. It's fast dealing property collection or property gaming, except it's got a mix of a reverse. You're not collecting properties, you're sort of attempting to land on properties to earn money at the end of the round by sliding your tokens, these guys, to on the board. So it has this sort of shuffleboard slash curling feel, and I thought, oh, this is pretty neat. This is again, it's for ages 8 and higher, 2 to 8 players, plays in about 15 20 minutes, which is perfect. It's not a huge package, fairly carryable, I guess it is. And basically, the object of the game is you have a set number of rounds, and during the rounds, you'll be taking each player will have 4 tokens, 4 pieces. They have a ball bearing at the bottom so that they can slide across, and you'll be trying to curl your way to success and earning money based on the properties that you land. So the board itself is fairly long. It's about 3 feet and change, so it is taking up most of my table space as well as it is out of camera view. So I do have sort of a low angle side view, so you can see more of the board. And it has all the classic properties in all their respective colors. The way it works is a little bit different. Normally you would land on a property. You can choose to pay for that property. You start with in regular Monopoly, you start with a certain amount of cash. Monopoly Deal, you had to earn cash, like you had to bank stuff so that you could pay for rent and pay for other things later on. But in this game, you start off with no cash, and you're landing on properties to obtain cash. And the incentive to have a collection of the same set of properties is you'll get a bonus amount. So what will happen is I'll just quickly go through the components here. So this is fairly straightforward, and it looks fun. It looks neat, and I thought this would be kind of fun to have as part of my gaming group. You've got a very set of simple 1 sheet, maybe 2 sheets of instructions, not complicated at all. It has basically some of the explanations in terms of non-property items when you land on them, what will happen. So I'll just leave this off to the side here. And you'll see that I've got, I'm going to go the board, the main board. It folds out into 4 sections. So it packs away quite nicely into the box. What I might do is I might just slide this part under, and I'll pull this down so you guys can see it better. Okay. So you've got Baltic, Mediterranean, and obviously, just like the board game, every section or every property color increases in their value. So obviously Park Place and Boardwalk is one of the most prized possession properties, and in this game earns you the most cash if you so happen to land on it. And you'll have other spaces like the luxury tax, the railroad, you'll have the go to jail spaces and the chance space, as well as the house space. And these again will modify or penalize you depending on which one you land on, based on your sort of your your roll. I don't want to call it a roll, more like a toss. No dice in this game, but there is the luck of dexterity. You'll have a get out of jail or in jail, sorry, get in jail token board, which if you so happen to land in the go to jail spot, you would actually end up getting into jail. And then you have a reference card, which is kind of neat. I like this breakdown. It tells you player order, which I'll explain in a minute, and it tells you all the different references for the various properties and spots that you land on, as well as how to resolve the turn order, or sorry, resolve the end of round. You'll have your tokens, your tokens depicting your player color, so you can choose red, blue, green, or yellow, and you'll also have a corresponding set of four tokens that you'll be rolling clock. Now, I was a little skeptical because I thought, oh, what happens if it's not smooth? But the board is fairly good. It's got a little bit of a texture, so I think this helps it from, if I think it was too glossy, it'd slide right off. But it's not bad, and I think if there's enough friction to slow it down, so there's definitely that dexterity component, which makes it very interesting. And then you've got cash in the regular paper format. And I don't like the cash. Actually, I never really liked the cash in the original Monopoly game, only because it was so thin and it's got this weird gritty texture to it. The cash is for, obviously, at the end of the round, you will tally up based on your tokens, where you've landed on what property, and you'll collect the cash. There's also, on the free parking, at the spot at the very top, that's where you will always have $500. I'm not sure why, because I don't recall in the original Monopoly that, say when you pay the bank or get out of jail, to pay to get out of the jail, the money goes in the free parking. I think that was like I don't know, maybe someone correct me. It's been a while since I played it, but we used to play it like that, but then I was told that's not how you play it. Anyways, so you're supposed to put $500 there, and then if you so happen to land on free parking at the end of the round, whoever's in there splits up the cash evenly, and then anything that's remainder will stay in free parking. There's certain conditions where if you want to pay out of jail, that money goes into free parking, or if you pay luxury tax, it goes into free parking area. So it could potentially add up quite a bit. So there's a lot of people that want to aim for that free parking, and hence that's why it's at the end of the board, because you run a very high chance of flying right off the board. If you fly off the board, your token's gone. It doesn't get a chance to re-roll. If you land on chance, at the end of the round, you have an opportunity to re-roll. Luxury tax, you pay $100. If you land on railroad, then at the end of the round, whatever tokens you have there, you can move to an unoccupied property. So that's actually kind of interesting, because when I was playing a sort of a run through of this, I thought, well, I'll aim for railroad, and if Park Place and Boardwalk aren't taken, then I'd put my tokens there. So I feel like that needs a little bit of a fine-tuning, but I haven't decided how to do that yet. Anyways, with the cash, I think they could have easily just done tokens. We live in a modern board game era where you don't have paper to keep track of things. You have a lot of tokens, whether it's plastic tokens or cardboard tokens. You could easily downsize all this whole stack into a handful of 50s and double-sided. You can even make them double-sided if you need to do change. But I feel like that was a misstep with the advancement, or not advancement, but at least progression of this Monopoly variation. So I'm going to fold out this board back to the top, because you're going to see that at the very bottom, there's a reference at the very bottom here. First of all, there's a go line. So as I understand it, when you are about to, and I'm going to show you, send off one of your tokens, you have to be behind the goal line. And I think your hand also has to be behind the goal line. So when you're doing this, you can't go like that. You can't release here. You have to release before the go line. And you also have a reference at the bottom for the color set bonus. That means if your tokens are on a color set and you've collected all of the colors in that set, or property colors in that set, you get an extra bonus, usually maybe several hundred more Monopoly money. So personally, I would rather just, in terms of keeping track, I would rather just have a piece of paper for each person and just keep track that way. So at the very beginning, you all choose a color, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take these markers and you're going to flip them upside down. and then you're going to shuffle. You're going to shuffle them around, and then what you'll do is you'll determine turn order, and you slot them in. At the end of each round, turn order will rotate, so the first player goes to fourth, or the last position, and then you'll bump everyone else up once. So everyone will have an opportunity to have the first turn during a round, each round. So what will happen is, again, there's no cash to get distributed. There's $500 in the free parking, and now player blue would take one of his tokens, and I'll sit myself down here, and I'm gonna try to roll for something. So I land on chance. I'll explain that what happens afterwards. Then the next person who's red, I want to try to go for maybe Kentucky. No, that one right off. So if you notice, that is on the go to jail section. And now next up would be green. Okay, so I bumped. Now if there is a tie in terms of where your token lands, it's supposed to be not a tie, but it's whatever part of your token where the majority of it resides on. That's the space that you've landed on. So for yellow to go, maybe yellow go get railroad, not bad. So then red will go again back to the top. And I'm just going to do this really quickly I think the board is curved a little at the top, so okay. So I'm just going to do the two just as an example. And then, actually, you know what? I'll do a few more. Here, we got one more red. And as you can see, just like curling, you have an opportunity to knock people out. So for example, what did I roll? The red. So this is green. I'm going to try to take out, oh, well, that's not bad. So I knocked myself, the green knocked himself into railroad as well as Indiana. And then green, sorry, I missed blue. Should have been blue for next. And then yellow. Oh, went right out. Put that one in jail. And then red. Sorry, blue's going to go again. And then red. And then green. And then yellow. Oh, went off. Okay. So once everyone has done rolled or shot or curled their token, that then initiates the end of the round. And at the end of the round, you have a couple steps that you have to follow, which is on the reference. So if you so happen to have a token that's on the chance, which there was one, what you would do is you take your token and you would re-slide it again. You get a second chance. If it landed on chance again, that's it. There's no continuation. It's a one chance or one time only. Then anybody who has a token in the railroad, they would take that token and they can move it to any unoccupied property. So for example, the yellow one here who's landed on railroad, I'm going to go ahead and move that person to Park Place. Of course, because that makes sense. And then you'll take a look at all the properties and you'll see that we've got green, blue, yellow on Marvin Gardens. You've got blue on Indiana, Kentucky on, green on Kentucky. St. James, green is on, I'd say it's more on St. James. And red has one on Virginia. So each one of those properties has a value. You would tally it up or get the cash in this case. You'd give the cash out or tally it up on your scorecard. And that's the amount of money that you've collected. If you happen to land on a house, you would choose one of your properties that you landed on and you would double the amount. So for example, if green had landed on Kentucky and also on the property, you could say, well, Kentucky is going to get 500 instead of the 250. So then if you had any tokens on luxury tax, for every property that you collected cash for during this round, you deduct 100 per property. So for example, with red, Virginia was 200. He would deduct 100 from there. And for blue, Indiana, he collected 250. He would deduct 100 from there as well. And then if there's anyone who landed on the go to jail. So if it's go to jail, you have to pay 100 to free parking to get out now, or you miss you miss a turn, your next turn. So right here, uh, if you pay one, so as soon as I landed on free parking, sorry, on go to jail, you pay 100 to go to free parking and get out now and slide again, or you get out for free at the end of the round. So if I chose at the time that I had gotten knocked into go to jail, red, green, red, and blue, they would have the option to pay 100 and re-roll or re-slide their token. Otherwise, they end up in jail, and we just move that out of the way. So going to jail is sort of an instant. If you land on or get knocked into go to jail, you immediately place your token in the jail card. Sorry, I missed that part. And then if you want to get out, you pay $100 to free parking, grab your token, slide again. If you land in jail again, I think this cycle continues. Otherwise, you would just wait till the end of the round and then reclaim your token, and you don't have to pay. So if you have no cash to pay or you don't want to pay, that's the time then you would say, you know what, I'll miss out that opportunity to slide my token, and then that's it. So then once that's done, you'll tally up everything, you'll have all your cash, you've paid any of your dues, and then what you'll do is you'll rotate the turn order. So the last person goes first and everyone gets bumped down, and then you would start a new round. Now, the number of rounds that you play is dependent on the number of players. So if you have 2 players, it's 2 rounds. If you have 4 players, it's 4 rounds. I feel like you could probably go maybe +1, so number of people +1, and I think that's a more balanced round. I think, for example, if I was playing 2 people, 2 rounds just seems very, very short. But you never know. And because it's sort of like curling, you can knock pieces off, you can try to sabotage the other players, you can knock them into jail or knock them into luxury tax or knock them right off the board if you want to. Maybe you want to sacrifice one of your own tokens and just make it fly through the board. So that really is in a nutshell. Now, if let's just say if green had landed on all 3 of the set of colors. So Vermont, Connecticut Avenue, and Oriental Avenue. So as a set, you would collect each individual amount, which is 150, 300, 450. And then based on the reference, I think the reference is down here. There's one at the bottom of the board, but just for sake of argument, you'll see it right here. There's a reference. And in this case, you collect an extra 900 Monopoly dollars into your pocket. So there is a certain benefit to maybe collect a set, just like you would in Monopoly. In real Monopoly, by collecting a set, you can start to build houses and hotels, you can charge more rent. There's a lot of benefit by aiming for the same, and that's for the round. So in this situation, next round, I could also aim for Vermont, Connecticut, Oriental if I wanted to. So there's no property collection. It's more of the reverse thinking. The properties that you land on earn you money. So there you go. That is basically the gist of Monopoly Knockout. It's very quick. It's very simple. I like the curling dexterity component of this. I think it's funny. I do think there is a slight problem with the board. Now that I noticed it, I think it's curved a little. So what ends up happening is you're going to see a lot of your tokens sort of slide off to the left or right. And maybe that's intentional. Maybe it's trying to make it difficult for you to land on free parking. And you could try to go for the gold, but there's a good chance that you're going to fly right off the board. So I think everything here, component quality, for the price point, I think it's fair. I think it's easy to take with you and not 100% portable, but definitely it's small enough that you can bring it with you. A lot easier than bringing the classic Monopoly game around. And the layout of everything is nice and bright. It's nice and large, easy to read. The whole concept of rolling or sliding your token is neat. I think the ball bearings in here are good, and it actually slides quite well on the surface. And I think my only gripe is, again, just the money, because I kind of wish it was tokens. Maybe I can find, some, what do you call those? Cheap children's banking things, and they have money tokens, and just use those instead. I really hate dealing with paper cash. So there you go. Monopoly Knockout. Hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, stay bored.